imagine waking up tomorrow and walking into your room. Nothing has changed. The walls are exactly where they were yesterday. Your furniture is still there. Your apartment is the same size. And yet, something feels different. The room feels bigger, brighter, more peaceful, almost like someone secretly added extra square meters overnight. But here's the surprising truth: they didn't. The room didn't change. Your perception of it did. And that's the secret architects and interior designers have understood for decades. Space is not only something you measure, it's something you experience. Your brain is constantly making decisions about whether a room feels open or cramped based on tiny details you probably never notice. The direction of your curtains, the height of your furniture, the amount of empty space between objects, even the way light moves across your walls. And once you understand these hidden rules, you can make almost any room feel larger without knocking down a single wall. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 design tricks professionals use to create the illusion of space. Some of them cost nothing. Some take less than an afternoon to change. But the final one is a technique used by architects to completely transform how people experience a room. So stay until the end, because the last trick might be the simplest one, and the one that makes the biggest difference. But before we start, if you enjoy discovering the hidden psychology behind architecture, interior design, and beautiful spaces, subscribe to the channel. Every week, we explore practical design principles that can help you create a home that feels more comfortable, intentional, and inspiring. Now, let's begin with the first transformation. Tip 1. Light is the invisible wall remover. Have you ever entered a room and immediately thought, wow, this place feels bigger than it should? Usually, the first thing your brain notices is not the furniture, it's light. Light is one of the most powerful tools in interior design because it changes how we understand boundaries. A dark room hides information. Your eyes struggle to see where the walls end and where the corners begin. The result? The room feels smaller. But when sunlight fills a space, your brain receives more visual information. You can see deeper. You can see farther. The room feels like it extends beyond its actual dimensions. This is why expensive hotels, luxury apartments, and modern homes almost always prioritize natural light. They aren't just making rooms brighter, they're making them feel larger. The easiest change? Stop blocking your windows. Heavy curtains, large furniture, and unnecessary decorations near windows act like visual barriers. Instead, use lighter curtains that allow sunlight to pass through. Keep window areas clean. Allow light to travel across the entire room. And if your space lacks natural light, create layers. A single ceiling light creates harsh shadows. Multiple light sources create depth. A floor lamp in the corner. A small lamp on a shelf. Soft lighting behind furniture. Each one expands the visual boundaries of the room. The surprising part? You don't need more space. You need your eyes to believe there is more. Tip 2. The power of empty space. Here's a mistake almost everyone makes. They try to make a small room feel bigger by adding more things. More shelves, more decorations, more furniture. But the opposite is often true. A room doesn't feel small because it lacks objects. It feels small because your brain has too many objects to process. Think about a luxury hotel lobby. Why does it often feel expensive and spacious? Not because it contains more furniture, because everything has room around it. Designers understand that empty space creates importance. A painting looks more valuable when surrounded by a blank wall. A beautiful chair feels more intentional when it isn't squeezed between other objects. Your home follows the same rule. Try removing one unnecessary piece. A side table you never use. A decoration that adds nothing. A chair that only collects clothes. Suddenly, the room starts breathing again. And here's the psychological trick. When your eyes have somewhere to rest, your brain interprets the space as larger. Sometimes the fastest way to create more room is to remove what was already there. Tip 3. Make your furniture disappear. This next trick is something most people never think about. Furniture has visual weight. Even when two pieces are the same size, one can make a room feel much smaller. Why? Because of what your eyes can see around it. Furniture that touches the floor creates a solid block. Your brain sees an obstacle. But furniture with visible legs creates openness. You can see the floor continuing underneath. Your eyes travel farther, and the room feels larger. This is why Japanese and Scandinavian interiors often use elevated furniture with simple shapes. The goal isn't just aesthetics, it's perception. But here's another surprising mistake. Many people think a small room needs small furniture. It sounds logical. But filling a small room with many tiny pieces often creates chaos. A small sofa, tiny table, narrow shelf, and multiple storage units create dozens of visual interruptions. Instead, fewer intentional pieces usually create a stronger feeling of space. The room becomes easier for your brain to understand, and anything your brain understands quickly feels more spacious. Tip 4. Stop breaking your room into pieces. Now, we reach a technique professional designers use constantly. Visual continuity. Imagine looking at a room where every wall has a different color. The floor changes material. The furniture uses completely different tones. Your eyes constantly stop. Every transition creates another invisible boundary, and boundaries make spaces feel smaller. Great design creates flow. The eye should travel naturally. This is why many beautiful interiors use connected color palettes. Not because everything needs to match perfectly, but because harmony removes unnecessary visual barriers. Warm whites, soft beige, natural wood, muted colors. These create a smoother experience. Your brain doesn't constantly divide the room into separate sections. Instead, it sees one continuous environment, and one continuous environment always feels larger. Tip 5. The ceiling trick that changes everything. Now for the final technique. And this one might be the most powerful because most people completely ignore it. Your ceiling. Most people think of a room as having 4 walls, but designers know something different. A room has 5 surfaces. The ceiling is the 5th wall, and it controls how tall and open the entire space feels. The secret is simple. Make your eyes travel upward. Hang curtains closer to the ceiling instead of directly above the window. Use tall shelves instead of wide shelves. Add vertical artwork. Choose plants that grow upward. Every vertical element sends the same message to your brain. This space continues. And then there is the classic mirror technique. But most people use mirrors incorrectly. A mirror doesn't automatically make a room bigger. A mirror works because it creates depth. When positioned correctly, it reflects light, open areas, or outdoor views. Your brain briefly questions where the room actually ends. That moment of uncertainty creates the illusion of additional space. The room hasn't expanded, but your perception has. Final thoughts. A bigger room doesn't always require more space. By understanding light, layout, colors, and visual balance, you can transform the way your home feels. Great design isn't about adding more. It's about making better choices with what you already have. The biggest mistake people make is believing that a beautiful, spacious home requires more square meters. It doesn't. The best design spaces are not always the biggest. They're the ones that understand human psychology. They know how light affects emotion, how empty space creates calm, how furniture changes perception, how colors guide attention, and how small details can completely transform an environment. Your home is not just a collection of walls and objects. It's an experience your brain interacts with every day. So before you think about moving into a bigger place, look at your current space differently. Remove what creates noise. Highlight what creates openness. Design for how you want to feel. Because sometimes the biggest transformation doesn't come from adding more space. It comes from seeing the space you already have in a completely new way. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel for more architecture and interior design ideas that reveal the hidden psychology behind the spaces we live in. Because great design doesn't just change how your home looks, it changes how your life feels.
If this content helped you, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos. If you want to support the project, you can use Super Thanks. Any amount helps keep this content alive and growing. Thank you for watching and being here.